In my last video on colour theory, I showed you how to paint 3 colour wheels using the split primary palette, and today I wanted to share with you the process of making a colour chart. I've made a 6x6 grid using washi tape, and I've labelled each of the split primary colours as well as whether they are the cool version or the warm version of the colour. The colours that I'm using are Hansa Yellow Medium, New Gamboge, Quinacridone Lilac, Deep Scarlet, Manganese Hue, and Phthalo Blue Red shade. These are all from the Daniel Smith watercolour range. I have a ceramic dinner plate here, and I've got some dried paint already on the palette. So I've got the cool and warm version of each colour, and I'll just reactivate these with water. And I will be using a round watercolour brush. This is a round 6. With these 6 colours, we will be able to achieve a colour chart with 36 colours in total. So each primary colour will occur in their mass tone without being mixed with any colour. Some people don't put these in, but I like to. We will also see each primary colour mixed with the rest of the palette twice in 2 different ratios. So I'll start by laying down my primary colours first. So first we have Hansa Yellow Medium, which is the cool yellow. Next I have New Gamboge, which is the warm yellow. Quinacridone Lilac, the cool red. Deep Scarlet, the warm red. Manganese Blue Hue, the cool blue. And for the warm blue, we have Phthalo Blue Red shade. Moving on to our mixes, Hansa Yellow Medium will be mixed with New Gamboge twice. So we want the column colour to be the main colour in that mix. So I have 2 puddles here of Hansa Yellow Medium. I've added New Gamboge in a higher ratio to one puddle and in a lower ratio to the other. We will repeat this process with each of the colours and each of the mixes, ensuring that the column colour remains the higher ratio in that mix. So now moving on to Quinacridone Lilac, I've got 2 puddles there, and I've added Hansa Yellow Medium in 2 different quantities to those puddles. So the puddle that has a higher quantity of Quinacridone Lilac I've laid down first, and then the second puddle with a higher quantity of Hansa Yellow Medium has been laid down second. I'm just going to repeat this process the whole way through, moving on to the Quinacridone Lilac and New Gamboge mixes before moving on to the Deep Scarlet mixes. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm using a large ceramic dinner plate as a palette here. Not only is this just an affordable palette, but it also means that I have enough room to make a large amount of mixes here. So I'm moving on to Deep Scarlet now, and I've mixed 2 puddles with the Hansa Yellow Medium in different quantities. You can just mix the 1 puddle and adjust that colour according to the column colour and what mix you're looking for. So making 1 puddle of Deep Scarlet, adding less Hansa Yellow Medium for the first mix, and then adding more Hansa Yellow Medium for the second. I'm now mixing Deep Scarlet with New Gamboge in 2 different quantities. As you saw there, I accidentally placed one of those mixes in the wrong square, so I just really quickly added some water to that paint and then lifted it with a paper towel. Being a colour chart, we have a really good opportunity to see what happens when you mix a cool colour with a warm colour, and making a decision as to whether you like that colour and want to use that mix in your paintings. I think this is a really interesting exercise alongside the colour wheel exercise that I shared with you in my last video. So moving on to Manganese Blue Hue, I've done my Hansa Yellow mix and I'm now moving on to New Gamboge. Then moving on to Quinacridone Lilac. I felt like one of the mixes wasn't strong enough, so I've just gone over that again. And finally, my Deep Scarlet mix. So now moving on to the last colour mixes here, with Phthalo Blue Red Shade and Hansa Yellow Medium, then New Gamboge, Quinacridone Lilac, Deep Scarlet, and finally Manganese Blue Hue. Our colour chart is all done, so you can wait for this to dry. I use a heat tool because I don't have the patience, but definitely make sure that your paint is completely dry before peeling off the washi tape. And this is just to make sure that you don't have any bleeding once you remove the tape. Our colour chart is all finished, so from 6 primary colours we have made a total of 36 colours, some in their mass tone and some in a 25 to 75% ratio. You can do this with any colour, it doesn't need to be a primary set. This is just a great exercise to see how the colours in your palette interact with each other. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or requests for future videos. But thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.